So it's very popular in our society to talk about inequality, systemic inequality, inequality of outcome, inequality of opportunities. But one thing that's very seldom talked about is the inequality of risk, inequality of willing to take chances, inequality of sticking to something long enough in order for it to bear fruit, the inequality of being willing to learn something and then applying what you've learned. And this is what business is. Business is a very humbling experience. Being in business, at least in my career, maybe other people have had different experiences, but from my experience and from what I've heard from a lot of other entrepreneurs, it's just getting kicked in the teeth over and over and over again and then asking for more. And now that's not the goal of business. The goal of business is to succeed and to ultimately have success and thrive, and of course have all those wonderful things. And in my personal goal is, oh my God, the dogs are talking, is to have freedom and to impact the world and to leave the world a better place. That's ultimately what I want to do. And in order to do that, I've had to be willing to do what others aren't willing to do. And that's what's very often kept out of the discussion, is people really do not want to look in the mirror and ask themselves if they've done everything that they can do to achieve the outcome that they say they want. And I've seen people come from third world countries, from poverty, from families that have histories of addiction and jail and just all of these horrible situations and become something of themselves. And of course, luck does play a factor, and maybe systemic advantages play a factor, but at some point, merit matters. At some point, we have to say that they were willing to do what others weren't willing to do. Because to even take advantage of, for example, systemic opportunities, if they exist, and we can debate where they exist, if they exist, how they're at play, but to even take advantage of it, somebody has to be willing to take the risk, to step up and just step up. Most people don't step up. Most people don't take those risks, period. And then they wonder why that other people don't have success when they don't. And so they say that the blame is external. It's beyond their control. It's a force that keeps them down. And while that might be true and it may be true, there may be an external factor and an external disadvantage. But when people who are coming from all sorts of walks of life and people of all races are having success, you have to consider that maybe the answer is within. Maybe the answer and the power to achieve my dream actually does come from something inside of me. And maybe if I stuck it out long enough, I would be able to achieve what other people have achieved. And like I said, that's a very tough pill to swallow. I've had to swallow this recently in my own career, working with a calling in a client or a potential client, where I got some feedback that I didn't want to hear, but I had to sit back and realize, you know what, they are right. And a lot of business is just constantly being tested that way. And if you're not willing to separate your ego or have a healthy relationship with the ego, then business is not going to be for you.